What's going on, guys? Liam here, and it's time. It's grand final week, baby. Not long to go now. And I don't think I've ever been more excited for a grand final. The more I look at this game, the more I go over this game, the more excited I get. The more matchups I look at, the more stats I'll go through. Damn, this should be epic between the Penrith Panthers and the the Brisbane Broncos. Now, I'm just playing with you Broncos fans. However, I've been absolutely loving all the memes, all the NFL memes from that forward pass, and I'm still filthy. No, I'm not. I'm not actually that filthy at all. I'm not that filthy at all. Broncos won that game fair and square, and I thought the Warriors handled it really well as well. So that's absolutely brilliant. So, all right, guys, let's break this thing down. We've got one game to go over. I've got a bunch of questions from you guys I'll answer and sort of go over. We'll go over matchups. We'll go over my punts, who I'm tipping for try scorers, all that sort of stuff, overs, unders. And not only that, guys, I want to see yours. I love seeing your guys' punts, your predictions. So drop them in the comments now. Who's winning the grand final? Broncos or Penrith? 1 to 12, 13 plus, overs, unders. Who's your try scorers? I want to see them, guys. And do you know what I love most about this grand final is? There's two main things. It's so split because you can make cases for both teams winning this game. It's just such a good matchup, and it's just the two clear-cut best teams. Like, both these teams pumped the third and fourth best team each, and not only that, both teams are fully healthy. Other than possibly, actually, let's get into that real quick. So Herbie Farnsworth didn't actually finish training, guys. Now I've had a few chats with people about this, and they're like, they said it's fine. It probably is. So Herbie Farnsworth, this is a little bit scary if you're a Broncos fan, but Herbie Farnsworth failed to finish training, suspected hamstring issue, Reece Walsh and Adam Reynolds and Payne Haas. That's scary just because this is literally your four most important players, I'd almost say. Payne Haas, most important forward. Maybe I'd probably give that to Carrigan, actually, but damn close. Reece Walsh, let's be real, Broncos ain't winning this game without Reece. They ain't winning this game without Reynolds. And Herbie, I'd probably argue, is their best outside back this year. Won me a bunch of money over the weekend. Thank you, Herbie. My shout, brother. Now, just on this, these guys are playing. Like, I'd almost wrap it in, but this isn't ideal to have, players with not finishing training with injuries, even if they are just niggles. Now, this can be three things. This can be absolutely nothing. It could be one of these ones where just the day of the game they go, actually, Herbie's actually not right. Or it could be one of these ones where it goes bang in a game. And we hope it's the first one. We want two full strength. One of the things I love about this grand final is everyone. Penrith are missing Tiny May, but haven't had him all year. We want the two best teams running out at absolute full strength. And but this isn't. If you're a Broncos fan, just ignore all this because it'll do your head in. And I promise you, I had a couple, someone's like, what are you talking about? They said it's fine and they're playing. Yeah, bro, that's what they said. And I'm not saying they're not right, but I promise you now, clubs will say whatever they have to say at media stuff, sort of thing. They could be right. There could be a genuine niggle, but they're like, nah, he will be fine. It could be worse than we think, whatever it is. But we just don't know. Clubs will say whatever they have to say to do what they have to do. If you believe everything, Valentine Holmes, it's just a prank. Come on, man. If you believe everything these guys tell you, there's a word in the dictionary called gullible. We'll leave it at that. But no, I expect all these guys to play, and I wouldn't be too worried at all. And let's pray it does stay that way, sort of thing. Now, so like I said, guys, this is one of the things I'm most stoked about. We have full strength teams who are clearly the first and second best team in the comp, leaps and bounds ahead of everyone. And Jesus Christ, it's just going to be so good. And the way I just keep looking at all these matchups and all this sort of stuff, I'm just absolutely blown away. It's this is just going to be so good. Now, I just want to prerequisite this. I know a lot of Broncos fans watch me and tune in. I'm going to probably jerk off the Penrith a little bit here, not because, and this doesn't mean you suck or you're not good or you're not as good. It's just Penrith have done some pretty incredible things, and I don't understand. I put up a stat the other day on my TikTok where I was talking how dominant Penrith have been in finals over the past 2 years, and Broncos fans, I was like, bros, I wasn't even talking about you. I was just talking about how good Penrith have been, how dominant they've been in finals. They're like, well, we were dominant too. I'm like, I know, but what I found weird about it is, because Brisbane's obviously in Queensland, right? Queenslanders have always embraced that underdog. Like, even when Queensland are clear favourites, they still try and make themselves the underdog. But in this game, Broncos fans are dirty that they're the underdog. I found it really strange in all my comments. I'm like, I'm like, Penrith are fucking so good at this, and you know what I mean? And look how they've only conceded an average of 8 points in finals. They're like, yeah, but I'm like, yeah, I know, bro, that's awesome, and like, I'm gonna give you some love too, but just like, I'm talking about Penrith right now, bro. I found it bizarre, man. I'm like, Broncos, I love you too, bro, but embrace it, man. Embrace that underdog role, man. Like, you are that. Penrith have been super dominant, and to me, it's weird because it makes your win so much better if you win. And if you lose, you can go, oh, well, we came up against the best team with this. You know what I mean? Like, it softens both. It makes the win better, and it makes the loss easy to swallow. So yeah, I found it strange. It's not a fight, where you try and you diss the other team and be on top to get in their head or something. It's a game of footy, man. So chill out. All right, guys. So first thing is Adam G's obviously got the job for this one. A lot of the other refs have obviously fallen down. The Bradbury of reffing, he hasn't made a mistake over the past month, so essentially he gets the gig. Now, we've all seen the stat of Adam G's record with and without, his win rate with Broncos and with Penrith. Now, obviously debunked that massively. Obviously, Penrith have been very dominant. I think their win rate's about 84% regardless, under any ref, and it's 91 or 2% with G, and Broncos is obviously about 30-something% win rate, but since 2020. But Broncos sucked in 2020. They sucked in 2021. They were okay in 2022, and they're extremely good in 2023. So don't stress about this at all, guys. It's a dumb, empty stat. This game's going to be reffed perfectly. I can feel it. All right. Sorry, guys. I always get bloody flooded with messages whenever I bloody start recording. As soon as I click that record button, it's on, man. It's on. Everyone can't help but message me. All right. So let's go. So how should we do this? Let's just have a look at the team list, have a little run over some stuff, and then I'll get into some questions. I'll get into some questions that I've been asked, sort of thing. So, team's pretty much unchanged. Like I said, this is the best thing about this. And the cool thing about this game as well, and another match, like obviously just seeing this team list, seeing them all matched up against each other here, I was just like, I'll explain. Reece Walsh and Dylan Edwards, right? Both so good, both so elite. So different. You know what I'm saying? They're so different. Like your Selwyn Cobbos and your Jesse Arthurs on the wing. Just so different. You know what I'm saying? Centre's pretty similar. Big, tall, athletic, young beasts from both teams, sort of thing. Man, look at these matchups, bro. Crichton Stags, Tago Farnsworth. Get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. Halves, I mean, Jesus Christ. I'll rate them, and we'll talk about who I think can get on top and all that soon. But look, I mean, the two generals, the two more live wires, the packs. I mean, Moses Fleggs, Fisher Harris, Payne Haas. Are you kidding me, man? Pat Carrigan, Isaah Yeo, clearly the clear two best locks in the game. Wow. Absolutely, there's just matchups galore all over this thing. I absolutely cannot wait. So, man, like I said, guys, this is just matchup heaven. Absolute matchup heaven. I might answer some of these questions first, and then I will sort of go into where I personally think each team can win. Sort of. No, actually, let's do how I think each team will win first. You can tell I put a lot of planning into this. I actually do a lot of research and planning. I just don't research my videos. I just talk, bros. And if you tune in and listen, you know how much of a legend you are, son. All right, so like I said, this is very hard to do matchups because it's like, oh, well, Broncos have a massive advantage with Reece Walsh. Yeah, cool, they do. But, like, Dylan Edwards is going to punch out more metres than Payne Haas in this game. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they play so different. So, let's talk about Broncos and how they can... I saw a really good thing with Cooper Cronk. Man, me and Cooper Cronk vibe, I'm telling you. When I think stuff and then I hear him say it, and I'm like, bro, I know I'm on the right path if I'm sort of thinking stuff that Cooper Cronk's saying. There's been a lot of talk. How do Broncos crack? How do they crack Penrith? How do they crack Penrith? And I think they can crack Penrith. I think the odds are just about bang on, to be honest. I think Penrith should be favourites, and I think Broncos, you know, like, this isn't firm favourites by any necessarily, but that's probably where they deserve to be. How do they win? How have they played? Like, this is the thing. I saw Guru on Bloke in a Bar. Love him. He's a legend. And I've seen heaps of people saying, "Oh, well, they're going to offload. Okay, so there's two sort of problems with this. We saw Parramatta have troubled Penrith the most over the past 3 years, and they're a very offload heavy team. There's a couple problems with that. Number one, it's risk versus reward. Do you have the plums? Do you have the cojones to do that in the grand final? Because you're throwing a lot into, you know what I mean? Like, you just, you know, like, you throw an offload out the back, Reece or anyone goes to pick it, they just have a little look up as they're picking it up and they drop a ball. Penrith are probably going to... Can you do that in a grand final? And I saw a thing, I actually said... I almost felt like it was a balk, like they were almost did that a lot to get Penrith to think that they're going to throw a lot of offloads. I actually don't think they're going to risk it. I don't think they're going to be throwing a lot of offloads. Me personally, and Cooper Cronk said this is I thought this, and then I saw Cooper Cronk say it. I think Broncos just need to do what they've been doing all year. Just play the way they've been playing. Punch through the middle. Okay, just hard hit-ups through the middle, just straight up and down the middle. If you do get an offload, put it to an edge. That's what, okay? If you do create space, fire it. If you don't, give it to Reynolds, kick to a corner, tackle hard. That's what rugby league is such a simple game. It's only complicated if you make it complicated. Win the collision. You got big boys that can win the collision. If you win the collision and there's an offload there, great. Throw it. Whoever catches it, get it to an edge quickly. And if there's something on, you'll score. If you're not, you'll probably at least make some meters. Run through your plays. If you create a bit of space, cool. If not, again, just give it to Reynolds, kick to a corner, chase hard, tackle hard. That's what I think. And I know people say, well, you can't just get in the grind with Penrith. That's not really the grind. It's because you're still chancing your arm by running plays, and you know you can shift the ball, but you have to win the collision first. That's not getting into the grind. So I was sort of not arguing. He's actually a really cool dude. But on my TikTok, we were chatting about how it's hard in TikTok because you can only write like a certain amount of words. But he's like, yeah, bro, but you just can't get in the grind with Penrith. I'm like, I'm not saying get into the grind. I'm saying just don't be crazy. Don't offload every time you hit the ball up. You know what I mean? Like, just play smart, play hard, and just, if Payne goes bang, hits, and someone bumps off and he's complete foot turn, spin, give it, and then shift the ball. That's not getting into the grind. If you get hit up hard and you get rocked and you get rocked back, okay, cool. Next man up and take a hit up. You know what I mean? It's not about getting into the grind. It's just about playing smart, playing the percentages. And like I said, there's points in this team. There's a lot of points in this team. You don't have to go gangbusters and just try and offload at will and try and win the game in the 22nd minute of the first half, all that sort of stuff, you know. So that's honestly how I think they should and will play. I don't see them varying away from it. I really think that's how they're going to play. A few advantages for Broncos is Reece Walsh I'm not going to jerk him off a whole heap in this. He's super electric. His ball playing's elite. He's faster than everyone. He's got a high IQ. We all know. We don't need heard enough about Reece Walsh. He's elite. We know. Another pretty decent advantage is, Jesse Arthurs isn't super tall, but very tall wingers compared to who they're on. Shorter guys, there is definitely aerial threats. But the one thing that's sort of helped Penrith there a little bit is the guys just inside their shorter wingers are quite tall, especially Crichton. I'm guessing he's 6'4", 6'3" at minimum. So if you don't get that right to an edge, Tago or Stephen Crichton, who are both great in the air, can do it. So I think there's definitely some opportunities there for the Broncos. Ezra Mann's running game is obviously a big advantage. These guys are great, but I almost think these guys might cancel each other out. I don't see Herbie dominating Tago. I don't see Tago dominating Herbie. I don't see Crichton dominating Stag. You know what I mean? I think these guys could possibly cancel each other out a bit. But yeah, Ezra Mann's running game could definitely be a problem. Second phase from Fleggs and Payne Haas, I think, is a big issue, and Carrigan as well. To me, Carrigan has to be damn near the best player on the park because these guys are going to have a target on them. It's easy to target a player, even two. It's very hard to target three. And I'll show you some stats in a minute, what I mean. Okay, that's about it. Now, how did Penrith win? They do what they do. They're not going to do anything crazy. They're not going to do anything different. They're going to defend, get through their sets, and just strangle you, drown you, take you into deep water. Are you willing to throw that offload? You know what I'm saying? They'll dare you. It blows my mind. Like, you can almost, set your watch to it. Like, we're watching just about every game when I'm, watching it and analysing it, right? And it's happened, 30 times in the past few years. You sit there and you're watching, and they start grinding out. And I think the commentators even were saying it literally as it happened. And they're like, Penrith just sort of start winning. I think it was 4-4. And they start bashing, and then they'll boot down, bash. And it just goes back and forth. They start to win position. And then you just sort of go, well, this is going to be who's going to balk first. And I think Christian Welsh put the ball down, and then all of a sudden Penrith have a full attacking set inside their 30. And you're just like, damn. It's just like clockwork. I was just sitting there going, any minute now, Storm are going to make an error. You know what I mean? They're just the best at not making errors in that grind. It's easy to say, yeah, we'll get in the grind and we'll back our defence, but they didn't make their first error till the 60th minute or something like that. It was just absurd. Now, yeah, so I just, like I said, advantages for them. These back five, like I said, are probably going to make more metres than Broncos forward pack. Luai's going to be his dynamic self. Cleary, I'm like I said, if he wins this grand final, I'm so damn close putting him to GOAT status. It's ridiculous. And anyone that says doesn't deserve to be mentioned with those guys, I think he's got a ways to go before he's better than them. But just being mentioned with some of the best halves of all time, sometimes you just know when someone's never laced up a footy boot in their life. And as someone that's played in the halves a bit and just seen what it takes, he's special, man. Obviously the forwards as well. Now, to me, we'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a minute, but I've been hearing this notion that Broncos forward pack's better than Penrith's. And alright, I've got a good way to explain this. Alright, Broncos forward pack looks better against weaker forward packs. And again, Broncos fans, if you're listening, I'm not dissing the Broncos forward pack. Okay? I'm talking up Penrith's. But just hear me out. Broncos forward pack, Broncos in general, but Broncos forward pack will always look better against lesser forward packs. They destroy them. okay? But this is one of these ones where footy math doesn't work out, right? Like, if you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ, okay? So, for example, if anyone follows MMA, damn, I've been doing a lot of MMA references lately. John Jones, best MMA fighter of all time, right? So he becomes the champ. He blitzes everyone on his way through. If some young up-and-comer blitzes all these guys harder, until he beats John Jones, he's not the best. And Broncos forward pack has never dominated Penrith's forward pack. And this is the funny thing people keep saying as well. I'm not worried about the score. Like, Broncos won one game, Penrith won one game. I'm not bothered about. To me, those games don't matter at all. Neither team was at 100% for both of those games. The Broncos win, great. The Penrith won one, great, cool. I don't care. But I am a little bit more interested in some of the stats from the game. For example, how much metres Penrith gained on Broncos, how many more metres they gained. And I'm just saying, does this look like what forward pack would you say won this battle? I would say Penrith won it substantially. Obviously, the backs backed, would have pumped in a lot of metres here, but, and this is the cool thing, this is why this matchup is so good, okay? Broncos pack makes metres. Penrith doesn't, but Penrith's pack stops metres. You know what I'm saying? So it all balances out in the end. But yeah, it's just, I don't personally see how you can be like, oh, well, yeah, Penrith, Broncos pack's better. Like I said, I had bloke in the bar on, it was just on in the background, and the beak was saying, oh, well, I just think Broncos forwards pack's better. How? How can it be better when they've played 6 times in the past 2 years, and every single time Penrith packs had better numbers, or a Broncos pack hasn't been able to contain Penrith? I mean, look, we can even go to the player stats. Payne Haas averages 100, nearly 200 metres a game. Against Penrith pack this year, he did 101. Tom Flegler, 102. Paddy Carrigan got his numbers. Like I said, it can be easy to target 2 guys. It's very hard to target 3. But like I was just saying, like, this is, and again, this isn't a knock on Broncos at all. We can go to the other game, even the game Broncos won, Penrith pack still went through them, okay? Like, it's just, like, there's, I don't understand where this has come from. I think people just like Broncos pack better. This is the thing too, Broncos are way better to watch. So I think people sometimes, when it's excitement, I saw actually on, I can't remember what I was watching, but people were like, well, Reece Walsh is better than Nathan Cleary because more kids and people like watching Reece Walsh. Yeah, bro, Reece Walsh is exciting. He's way better to watch than Nathan Cleary. Doesn't mean he's better, and they're completely different positions, so that doesn't matter. But you get what I'm saying. People, sometimes the optics lie. Like, like Reece Walsh should do some hectic stuff, and not like, I remember Kalen Ponga used to be like, he'd be doing all this stuff, but like nothing would happen. And I'm not saying that's what the Broncos are doing. They're obviously making a lot happen. But, yeah, it's there's excitement and then there's, like, getting the job done. And Nathan Cleary is obviously king of getting the job done. So, yeah, like I said, I just wanted to point this out because I don't give... Like, that's great, Broncos won. Like, it's great. They got that monkey off their back. Cool, I don't even care Penrith won that. I'm not bothered about that at all. But I was very interested in some of these stats here. Sort of thing. I was very interested who... again, we want to talk about Broncos pack. Let's have a little look here. Like, the Broncos pack couldn't contain their back 5 at all. 275, 213. Tyron Peachy's not a meat eater, and he got 2. You know what I mean? 172, 264. I don't say how you can say Broncos pack's better when they let the back 5 run more meters. You know what I mean? Like, just run their average meters. Like, more. This is actually above all their averages. So, like I said, I've been a bit befuddled how you can say this pack's better than this pack. I think there's guys in this pack that are better than this pack, but I just think as the group, I definitely see Panthers pack being a bit better. Now, I'd probably say Payne Haas. Let's just talk about the middle forwards. So, like the props. So I'd probably say Payne's been the best prop this year. You know what I'm saying? Then I'd go Fisher and Moses, whichever way you want to have them. Then I'd say Fleggs. So I think Fisher, Harris and Moses have both been better than Fleggs this year. Payne Haas has been better than both those guys. So I think that really evens each other out. I'd actually argue that Paddy Carrigan's been playing better than Isaah Yeo this year. He impresses me every time he takes the field. He's so good. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Yeo. Yeo's a goddamn monster. But what I would call quite a big discrepancy is the second row. Liam Martin on Cape Wall. That is a monstrous mismatch for me. That's good luck, brother. Good luck to my brother out there. He's that's going to be rough. And Sorensen again. He's not the best second row in the game, but he's he's handy. And I definitely think he has the wood on Ricky for sure. So, like I said, we've got a few stalemates here. And, or if you want to give him a slight leg up, it's not like the other guy's a chump. Like, if you want to say Payne's better than Fisher, okay, cool. Well, Moses is probably slightly better. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's very tit for tat. But, yeah, I think if you just lump them in and say what one's better, I don't understand how people can say Broncos is better when they have never dominated Penrith. And Penrith have been the best pack for 4 years. So that's sort of where I stand with that. Now, where I see quite a substantial advantage for the Broncos is, and this will for the Penrith Panthers is, and this will actually get me to one of these questions here, is the bench. Spence Linu comes on and changes the game. And Broncos, when when Carrigan, Haas and Flegler went off, these guys were fine. I actually think I'm actually big fans of each and every one of them. I love Kobe. Pelosi is great. Pikura's got a bright future. He's brilliant. But you could tell when those Payne and Paddy were off the field. You really could. Whereas when Spencer Lino and Lindsay Smith come on, you don't. In fact, I feel like they sort of almost get better, not because they're better players than Moses. They come on at the right time. Like Spencer Lino is exactly the sort of prop you want. Like if you start Spence, he's not as good. Like and you put Moses on, but it actually works better this way because he's fast and he punches through the line. It's perfect. Like if Spencer Lino with all his speed and the aggression he runs, if he did that in the first minute of the game, he'll just get swallowed up. But when he does it against tired forwards, like you know what I'm saying, I almost feel like they get faster when Spence comes on for the first time. Sorry, and then you got Lindsay Smith come on, and he reminds me a bit of Jake Trbojevic. He's goofy looking. When he's not going to hurt you with the ball, like he gets smashed when he takes kickoffs. He gets pumped. Like he's not, but he stops dudes in their tracks with defense. He works his ring off, and he's one of those guys. He'll just hit you in the ribs, grab you, squeeze you, let you go, knock you. Like he's just a worker. He reminds me a bit of, not as good as Jake, obviously, but he reminds me a lot of him. Goofy looking. First time I saw him run out, I'm like, who is that guy? Remember seeing Jake for the first time and going, he's good at rugby league, that guy. And then you watch him playing, like, oh, damn. Like he's good. Obviously, Lindsay isn't on that level yet, but yeah, I just feel like, and this is a question someone asked me, how do you think they need to play Payne Haas? What do you think Payne Haas's minutes will be like? This is such a good question because I've been saying it all year. Give me some of these Pepsi Max. I didn't like the way Kevy had been playing him all year. And I was like, man, this is going to sting him when they get to the finals. But then in the finals, he actually did what I said what I thought he should be doing and giving him a rest before halftime. You don't want your best, all your, like, this is the thing, right? Penrith, like, you need to go forward to make meters, to get on the front foot, right? You need meters. You need meters. So, like, these guys stop meters, these guys get you meters, and because these guys are hanging out on a wing and hanging out the back, not making tackles and stuff like that, they're going to get you your meters. So Penrith are going to get meters, whereas if your forwards make you meters, cool, but you can't have these guys blowing. Like, you need these guys fresh. So I thought these guys were playing way too many minutes, and I was like, yeah, it's fine when you're playing the Tigers or, you know what I mean, the Titans, but like, in a grand final, like, you can't have Payne Haas blowing with 15 minutes to go and you have to have him on the park. You know what I'm saying? So, huge question. I know this sort of sounds weird, but I would almost just the second Fish and Moses go off, because Penrith are going to have their rotation sort of sorted. You know what I mean? They'll probably go off 25 minutes, 30 minutes into the game. I'm pulling Payne off. And then as soon as they go back, I want Payne fresh. And then I'd probably put him back on a little before they come back on, because Payne can play more minutes. I'm comfortable with him playing more minutes. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't want him exhausted when Fisher, Harris and Moses Leota come on for their second stint fresh as hell. I want him relatively fresh. So I want him, you know what I mean? Like, these bros are just going to have to hold their own against these bros. And yeah, I think you roll with it. I don't think keeping Payne Haas on, like, I've heard a few things, yeah, but you know, he's the best player, you want him on for as many minutes. You want him on for as many minutes that are going to be the highest quality minutes you can possibly get out of him. That's what you want. You want him to play as many minutes as he possibly can at the highest possible level. If there's 10 minutes where he's down because he's been left on too long, if this is a real fast game, you messed up, sort of thing. So yeah, like I said, I'd be waiting until these two get pulled and then just going, all right, get him off. And then I dare say these guys will come on about 18, 20 minutes in the second. If you want to bring him on 10, 15 minutes into the second half, do it then. And then, you know what I mean, Payne's got a big motor. He'll be just fine to play 30-odd minutes in the second half after a big rest. And I'd just be playing. And someone said, what about Paddy playing the whole time? He has to stay on the field the whole time. Isaah Yeo does it. Paddy Carrigan's going to have to do it. Yeah, so that's really, really interesting for me. But yeah, that's sort of, I mentioned the ways Broncos sort of win, and yeah, and they're the advantages I see for Broncos. I see, you know, their forward rotations elite, and I just, yeah, we saw it against Melbourne, not in the finals, but the game before. You just watched, like, this arm wrestle went on, and Ivan Cleary just, like, it was actually quite interesting. Like, Big Nelson came back on, Tui came back on, and Melbourne sort of starting to arm wrestle the game back. Like, it was real arm. And you watch Cleary just hold back Moses and Fish, held them back. And then with about 18 minutes to go in the second half, he dropped them both back out there, and they blitzed Melbourne in the second half. This is in a game during the year. This wasn't, but you know, they just could not keep up. Just too fast, just dominate. Their line speed. Every time Nelson got the ball, boom, on the ground, wrestled. Anytime any of the boys got the ball, bang, and they're just a fresh Moses Leota and Fisher Harris is scary, very, very scary. So I personally, I'd almost want Fleggs to play. I don't know how you do it, like with Fleggs and Payne. But yeah, I want Payne to not be out on his... This is the problem. Like, he can do it. But, like, do you want him to do it? Like, again, I'll just give a scenario, and I've given this one. Let's say you do what he had been doing through years, so he plays the first half, right? And let's just say it's an arm wrestle, you know, it's 10-8, even if Broncos are winning 10-8 or something like that. All right, you get 15, 20 minutes into the game, you see Payne starting to blow a little bit, and then Panthers score a try and get a penalty, and then, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, Penrith are up by 8 points with 18 minutes to go, and Payne Haas is out on his feet. Like, you're done. You're gone. You're going to pull Payne off, and then what? Like, Palacia is going to come on and dominate a fresh Moses Leota, and it's not happening. It's not happening. So yeah, that's sort of where I stand with that. You need Payne to play as many minutes as you possibly can at the highest level he possibly can. And, it's probably around that 60-minute mark. You could probably just literally pull him off with 10 minutes to go in the first half. He has half-time, 10 minutes off in the second. He can do 2 half-hour stints in his sleep, and he'll be just fine. All right, what was another question someone else asked me? And then I'll get to my picks and my opinions and all that stuff. How do you stop Reece Walsh? Look, people have had Reece Walsh's seasons before. Like, it's not the first superstar we've seen. Like, we can talk Ben Barber, we can talk Turbo, we can talk. Turbo wasn't quite the same actually, because Turbo was more Jared Hayne 09. How do you stop him? You can't. Like, but how you stop him is by stopping his space. You watch Reece, so obviously we were talking about it before, shutting down offloads. So you actually watch a lot of the time, it's either Paddy or, because Paddy and Payne are the best at doing it, they'll hit a gap, Paddy's probably the best at it, he'll hit a seam, hit it hard, win the collision, either offload, but that was that game, but most of the time get to his feet, play the ball, zip it out. He does all his best work off their forwards. So how you stop Reece Walsh is by stopping these guys. If Reece Walsh gets space and he gets the ball out in front against a retreating defence, he doesn't even need an overlap. He'll create one, but because he's faster than the guys inside him, opposing him. So you really can't stop Reece. It's about stopping him getting good ball by folding these guys. So these guys have these guys don't get a big enough rap of what Reece has been able to do this year. Like if Reece isn't getting good ball and good play the ball, so he's not getting the space and he's not been able to create. Reece Walsh in space is damn scary, damn scary. You even look at like a good example is, because they don't dominate all the time, but you look at the Titans, right? Jaden Campbell, he doesn't quite have all the skills Reece has, but he's very similar, like as from a dynamic standpoint. He doesn't get half the opportunities as Reece does. But when he gets them, they look pretty similar. Like they're both fast, they're both electric. They can just step inside you. They can make you look silly. But he doesn't get half the opportunities because he doesn't get half the fast play. He doesn't get half the good ball sort of thing. So, the short answer is you can't. If Reece is getting tons of ball and he's getting the ball out in front at pace with a 3-on-3 or a 3-on-4, a 4-on-3, it's a wrap. He's scoring or setting up tries. So you really can't. However, having said that, I guarantee you Broncos defensive coaches were watching him shred apart the Warriors with a notepad, and they're going to do their absolute best to do it. So maybe Penrith shut him down, and I go, that's how you shut down. So maybe Penrith will show us how to do it, because no one else has been able to. So yeah, he's one of these guys. He's just a special talent, and like I said, I'm not going to jerk off Reece Walsh a whole heap. We all know how good he is. He's an absolute freak. But if you watch, it's probably a bit old now, but the 2009 Grand Final, Melbourne Storm, very similar. Gutsy, gritty team, processes, all that sort of stuff. The freak playmakers. You watch how they sort of shut down Jared Hayne. They didn't shut him down. They just put bodies on him and made sure he didn't get good ball. They just wrestled the hell out of the forward pack and made sure they didn't get quick play the balls. And that actually could. I was actually thinking about that the other day. So funny you say this. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some penalties. I wouldn't be surprised if Broncos win the penalty count here. Now, Broncos are actually scoring a lot of tries, sort of like from inside their 40 and inside the 30, like, you know, the middle of the park. So not right in attacking defence. So Penrith, we all know, have elite defence, right? Now, if you watched them last week, and I made in my post video, I actually said, if you actually watch, Melbourne actually won the ruck, like the ruck speed. If you actually watch them, Penrith would tackle, boom to the ground, and they were jumping off real quick. They were making a real concerted effort not to give a penalty. Why? Because Melbourne are so good in set moments. You know what I'm saying? Like in set plays, Melbourne will just rip you to shreds. Now, I was actually thinking, Broncos are actually way better free, you know what I mean? Like when the game's fast, when it's flowing, fast play the ball, bang. That's why they're scoring so many tries from the middle of, you know what I mean? They're not like grinding teams down and scoring tries from 5 metres out. I mean, I know they have done that, but a lot of their tries are almost, you wouldn't call them long distance because they're not like from right inside their half, but they're around halfway, just over halfway, just behind halfway, sort of around there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they possibly wrestle and just live with the fact if they give a penalty and just will back our defence inside, because Penrith's goal line defence elite, and I actually think Broncos would be less dangerous attacking 10 metres out than they would be attacking from 30, 40 metres out. Because when you're attacking inside the 10 especially, you don't obviously have to go back 10 metres. You know, you take one step and you're at the defensive line. Really interested to see if they do that, because that was obviously like Cleary, GOAT coach. You know what I mean? Like I watch him do stuff. I was watching him going, why are they jumping off why are they letting Melbourne like get quick play the ball? Like if you actually go back and watch the game, they'll tackle and then he'll jump in up. I watched Liam Martin. He'd tackle, grab, and then jump up like this. I was like, damn, they're getting off really quickly. And then I checked the stats. It could be by checking them now, but yeah, Melbourne were playing the ball like nearly like way quick, like way faster than their whole team year's average was. I think it was like 3.16 seconds, which is so fast, sort of thing. So really interesting to see if that's a tactic they possibly say and just back their defense. And this is the thing now, because repeat sets aren't a thing anymore. Like, okay, Reynolds has his best short kicking game in the comp. He dribbles the ball in, cool. Nathan Cleary either puts it up high, Crichton grabs it, or he boots it out and they get the ball back. You know what I'm saying? They're not guaranteed the ball back anymore. So maybe they are willing to sort of defend their line like that. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what the coach, Ivan Cleary, sort of does, because if they can slow down Broncos forward pack and just, if they get a penalty, whatever, we'll defend it. Well, you're not getting quick play the balls. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't care. Like, we'll hold you down. And once you're inside the 20, inside the 10, it's actually pretty hard to score from in there. Because like I said, the defense takes 2 steps and they're on you. You know, so you have to play so deep, which throws out your shape and everything as well. So interested, so interested to see how that sort of plays out. All right, what else we got? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But like, look, these matchups, guys. Like Reece on, like I said, it's almost so hard to do, just because, like I said, so many of these players are so different. Like, how different, is like Cobbo to Taruva? Like, they're bipolar opposites. But like I said, I'd probably. It's just so hard. I don't want to say one's better than, like, I look at this. It's hard for me sometimes because I look and I go, if I was building a team, I'd probably build it more like this one. But like, it doesn't mean this one's bad or anything like that. But it's just, I could really see this game being a Broncos-Cowboys sort of game where it's coming down to a conversion or a field goal or something like that. This game could really come down to Cleary versus Reynolds kicking from the sideline to win the game, to kicking a field goal. It really could. Like, I can really see that sort of going down. And just my punts for this, guys, I forgot to mention. So I actually had Panthers to win the comp, guys. So at 450 and then 490. So I put $2,000 on that. So I've actually put $2,000 down on Broncos to win. So just a hedge sort of thing. But yeah, I'll give my actual tips in a minute. But I think it could really come down to these two. I think whoever wins this forward battle is a good chance. And I'll give my actual pick who I think is going to win very, very shortly. But if we just have a look at, I'll go through my punts real quickly. So Clive Churchill, I've actually gone, where's Clive Churchill here? Is it up here? So I'm not logged in, so I don't know how to use the website. I never use it. But anyway, I've gone those two guys just for that. I genuinely think there's a very good chance that these guys all cancel each other out. I see so many ways that these guys could all get cancelled out. And I genuinely think good goal kicking or a field goal could win this thing, or just good general positional kicking. And these two are both great at it. So I've gone, whenever I'm picking the Clive Churchill, I always go one from each team, just because... like Reynolds could be the best player in the park. If Penrith win, then he doesn't win it, sort of thing. So, I'm going both of those guys. So Cleary's 850 Reynolds is 850 and Cleary's 350, I think, or 380 or something like that. So I've got 1,000 down on each of them. Now for my try scorers, lads. For my multi for the game, right? I'm going Crichton. Okay, at 240. the way Reece throws that ball on that edge, I can seriously see Crichton snatching an intercept. I really can. I can see Crichton snatching an intercept for sure. Like, I really can. And even if he doesn't, I still think he's a very genuine chance of getting a try. So, yeah, I've gone Crichton. I'd really think he can... him on Staggs. Staggs is a beast, is a monster, but he can miss a tackle. And just, yeah, I see him scoring. And I can... It's his 100th game. It's his last game for Penrith. He is going to be going ham. And so I'm going Stephen Crichton as my try scorer, guys. Now, overs, unders. Now, this is really deceptive, and I think a lot of people are going overs here. Now, let's see what the overs and unders is. Total match points, 38.5. Now, this is quite low, and they've bloody nailed it, Sportsbet. They're good at what they do, man. Now, these guys the attack's been absolutely crazy. Like, both these teams are scoring well over 27 points recently. Like, they've been blitzing the best teams. So I think a lot of people are thinking we're going to get a lot of tries. The numbers I'm looking at are these ones here. And honestly, I could see this being the score for either team. You know what I'm saying? So Broncos win 16-12. Or Broncos win. Yeah, and if we add these two numbers up, we get 28. Yeah, hang on, wait. Is that 28? Yeah, it is. So I mean, and people were like, "Well, but that doesn't look at the last time these guys played." You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter what they've been doing against other teams. It's what they do against each other. And the way they defend. These guys aren't going to be leaking tries. Or, as much as I love Reece and he's a killer, he's not getting 6 line break assists and 2 line break assists himself this game. You know what I'm saying? That's not happening. So, I'm seeing a scoreline somewhere around here. In this ballpark, anyway. I think it could be a little bit more. Like, it could be 16-23 or 22 or something. 18, 19. It could be anything around there. But so I'm going to go unders as well for this one. It's so risky because it's not risky. It actually should happen. But both these teams have been attacking so crazy. It's just like this could be overs, but this could be way overs. Like the 50 points could get scored in this. I just doubt it. So if we put these two together, what do we get? Oh, where's my bet slip? Here it is. 525. So yeah, I'm going to be putting these two together. I might put $5,000 down on this one. I haven't got it in yet. I'll put that in after this video. But yeah, so this is what I'll be looking at. Stephen Crichton, try scorer. 38 under 38 points. Did I click unders? Yeah, I did click unders. For 525. I actually really like that. Like, Stephen Crichton is a serious chance of getting a try. He's going to be sniffing around so heavy in his last game for Penrith. It's his 100th game, going for a 3-peat. He's going to be sniffing. He's going to be going nuts. And then just backing the boys to be elite on defense and just grinding it out. So, yeah, they're going to be my punts, guys. So, we've got... I've hedged the head-to-heads, guys. So, yeah, we'll have to... You're on your own there. And then we've got Crichton and unders. And then I'm going Cleary and Reynolds for Clive Churchill. So they're my punts, guys. All I know is this is going to be good. Now, time for my actual picks, like who I think will win this game. All right, so I've rambled on, I've talked rubbish, and if you're still listening, you're a legend. You're a damn legend, and I hope what I've been saying made sense, because I just can't rap both these teams good enough to be this much better than second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth is something special, and it's crazy. But the crazy thing is, like, no one cares who comes second. It's just wild, absolutely wild, man. And like I said, I just want the ref to just stay out of it. Let's have a real good game and play some footy. So this is the way I sort of see it going down. I see, this is the problem. Like, there are so many variables in this thing, and this is so hard to pick. But the one thing I know is I know what I'm going to get from Penrith, and I'm not too sure what I'm going to get from the Broncos. Like, what if Penrith come out and put 16 points on in the first 20 minutes? Like, how do they react? Because we know how Penrith react when they get 16 points put on them early. What if Broncos come out and put 14 points on? Do they start getting loose? Do they go, oh, we are the best? And then they get ground back in. All of a sudden, there's 10 minutes to go and they're down 18-16. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm struggling to pick the Broncos. It's not even I think they're going to lose. It's just so hard when you know what you're going to get from one and you're not too sure from another. Another thing that's leaning into my possible pick for Penrith is just playing at our core. Broncos have played in Sydney 3 times this year. It's just like they've one less day's rest, and all this stuff. This is the thing. This is the thing that I'm talking about. This is why I love it. Everything I'm saying, everything I've said tonight is not wrong. Like, I'm right, but I could also just be wrong. Like, all this stuff I've just said might not matter. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's not a single thing that's come out of my mouth tonight where I'm like, Penrith are great at this, Broncos are great at that, Penrith can scratch you here, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, something completely different could happen. Like, it's just, like, I'm not saying anything wrong. I just could be wrong, though. It's so weird. It's so weird. Yeah, so, like I said, I know what I'm going to get. Like I said, I just can't. Like, Grand Final's the closest thing to State of Origin, right? And just seeing what Fisher Harris and Moses Leota did to Paulo and RCG they monstered them. And, like, again, I'm not dissing Payne. Payne Haas has completely exceeded my expectations this year, but he has been held very quiet at State of Origin with that intensity. Flegg stood up. Paddy stood up. But, yeah, it's just, I just know what I'm going to get. And yeah, it's so damn hard because it's just, whenever I say something about Penrith, then I'm like, yeah, but then they've got this advantage over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is pretty much what I'm just going to break it down like this. I genuinely think Penrith are the best team in the comp, with Broncos being a close second, very, very close second. I think Broncos I feel like Broncos have the game to beat them. I just feel like they have to be perfect. And are they going to be? Whereas I feel like Penrith can win if they're even just slightly off. Like, Broncos can play a 9 out of 10 and Penrith play a 9 out of 10. I feel like Penrith win. But if Broncos play a 10 out of 10 and Penrith play a 9 out of 10, I think Broncos win. It's just, I feel like Broncos have to be almost substantially better than Penrith to win. And it's just comes down to who's going to play better on the day. And when I'm doing a prediction, it's like, who do I trust to have the best game they possibly can? It's Penrith. I just can't see, like, we've just seen them play so good every damn week. Whereas Broncos, in some of their big wins, right? Reece will have a shocker or make 6 errors, but they still win. Tony Staggs will miss 9 tackles, but they still win. Cobbo will have 7 errors, they'll still win. Ezra Mann will have 6 missed tackles and they'll still... You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like... Yeah, whereas Penrith don't do that. Whereas if Ezra Mann and Tony Staggs miss 6 tackles and Cobbo puts 5 bombs down, Penrith will win them from 20 plus, you know? So, whereas I don't see that in Penrith. I just, like... Broncos have been so damn good as a team. They've been able to cover the occasional dud game from a player. But, you know, like at a grand final, 1 drop ball. That's the Broncos know. Benny Hunt, 1 drop bomb. They haven't been in the grand final since. They haven't been close to a grand final since. one drop bomb can be the difference. And I just trust Penrith to not drop that bomb, I guess you could sort of say. And that's why I'm tipping the Penrith Panthers. Confidently, I actually think they should win. Just experience playing in Sydney, all that stuff. But at the same time, I'm actually quite confident Penrith will win. I would not even bat an eyelid if Broncos win. I would not be remotely shocked. And if they do, this would be one of the greatest wins in a very long time. Because like I said, the numbers don't lie. Penrith have been one of the most dominant team in the NRL era. You know, like Cam Smith and Cooper Cronk. Oh, Cooper Cronk did a back-to-back, but that Melbourne team never did a back-to-back or a three-peat or anything like that. Like, this is full on, man. So, but like I said, guys, I actually don't care who wins. I just want to rip a game of rugby league. Great defense, fast, intense, some big shots. Ref stays out of it. No howlers. Reece Walsh, put those shoulder pads and helmet away, man. No gridiron this weekend, brother. Let's just play some footy, man, and bring it on. Like I said, both teams deserve a chip this year. They've both been that good. They've been so much better than everyone else, and it's just crazy that only one team can win. And this is, you know what, man? I've made this argument for a while now that I actually think I feel like State of Origin's just lost a little bit of its spark, right? Because if you're in that Blues system or that Maroon system, like it's huge. I'm not saying it's not huge, but I'm not saying this is going to happen. But there's a world where the Broncos don't get another chance at a grand final for another 5 or 6 years, or Penrith for that matter, but probably a little more likely for Broncos. I mean, they lose Fleggs and Herbie for next year. That's a pretty substantial loss. I mean, touch wood, this doesn't happen, but Reynolds was getting up there. Let's say Reynolds gets injured and Payne Haas needs a knee reco and he's out for the start of the year, or you know what I mean, something horrible like that. There's a chance they don't make the 8. I'm not saying it'll happen, but you get what I'm saying. Like, this is huge. Like, this is what I mean. I feel like this is bigger than a State of Origin. Like, there's a chance that, like, State of Origin, every year there's 2 teams. The same guys get picked just about every time. A couple get rotated in and out. You play 3 games, 1 team. This is way better, man. I'm sorry. This is 17 teams, half a year battle. Only the 2 best here. I reckon this is better, personally. I get way more G'd up from the grand final than do State of Origin. This is sick. All right. So, yeah, like I said, guys, tipping. This is the other little thing as well. I do feel a little thing I do think will definitely, a thing that was leaning me towards Penrith a little bit is the bench. Like I said, I think this bench could balk Kevy. Let's say, like I said, just for example, right? Let's say he does get Paddy or Payne or Fleggs off or whatever for a rest. If these guys, like he did against just about everyone, start to get on top of these guys and they start winning, Spencer's going spastic and, you know, Lindsay Collins is just stopping everyone in their tracks and, you know, you've still got Mitch Kenny out there snapping dudes, you've got Liam Martin snapping dudes. So if Penrith Pat gets on top, I feel like it could balk Kevy into getting these guys back on a little earlier, if at all, or leaving them on. You know, like if Payne doesn't come off and these guys are on, if these guys are doing damage with Payne on the park, it's like, do I take him off? Like, you get what I'm saying? So this is another. I think the bench could be big. I really do. Yeah, like Spencer's definitely got everyone's number here substantially. And like I said, Lindsay Collins, Lindsay Smith, I don't think he's that great, but he just does his job so well. He just does all the gritty hard work and he'll stop you in your tracks. You know what I mean? He'll jump. His marker work for a prop is so ridiculous. Like, the amount of times, like, he must have a real fast first step for a big man because he's not quick, but he's got a, like, he'll just jump out and just snap someone's legs and then Martin or Yeo or whatever will snap the dude over the top, put him on the ground. All of a sudden, it's real slow play the ball because Lindsay Smith has just snapped someone's leg from the markers. So yeah, he's just this is where I could see a lot of another advantage too. And the other thing is having Cogger on the bench. Now, we've been blessed all year that these teams have barely had any injuries. I know Penrith had more than thing, but praying to God this doesn't happen. If Reynolds or Mann goes down, they don't have a cover. Like, they really don't. Like, I know people go, Smoothie can go. I know someone can go in there. I mean, Pikura could go play in the halves, but you get what I'm saying? It's not a proper cover. Jack Cogger is a genuine 6, 7 or 9. So if Kenny, they've got their halves completely backed up. And like I said, Reynolds and Reece and Mam's been battling through some injuries as well. Like, he's been pretty beat up himself. I know his knees pretty busted. You get what I'm saying? If something, like, remember, the collisions are just bigger in these games. If something happens, they don't have coverage. That's scary. And I know what everyone's going to say. Tyson Smoothie could come up. Yeah, okay, bro. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's not quite the same. Like I said, anyone can fill it in. Nico, we saw Cook filling in the centres at State of Origin. How'd that go? He leaked like 7 tries. But yeah, Penrith have the heart, like, literally 7, 6, and 9 completely covered. And if Cleary goes off the park, say Cleary gets a HIA, you don't think Penrith are going to be fine with Cogger in there for 15 minutes? Yeah, for sure. Whereas if, say, even Reynolds, just say it is a Category 2 HIA, 15 minutes without Reynolds on the park, and what's Smoothie filling in? Or, Billy Walters going in there and Smoothie going in at 9. That's a drop. Like, a big drop. So, yeah, that's big, man. That's big. So, yeah, like I said, just a few little advantages for Penrith I see here. But, man, like I said, I'm not writing Broncos off at all, and this is going to be one of the best grand finals, guys. Absolutely cannot wait. So we'll go live on TikTok an hour before this, guys, and just bring it on, man. Just hurry up. I just want to take a pill so I can go to sleep. There's some fish oil here. And wake up and it be grand final day, man. Thank you all so much for watching, especially if you listen to me ramble all day. It feels like all day for a very long time. You're the best. And I'll see you before the game. Let's go.